Meet Sam, a bright student with a hidden secret, social anxiety. Watch as she takes us on a journey of self-discovery and overcoming her fears. Nighttime, when the mind races and fears take hold. Sam battles her anxieties in the darkness, yearning for connection and acceptance. Sam feels like an outsider, invisible among the masses. Sam's struggle with social anxiety becomes more apparent in the bustling high school environment. She yearns for connection but finds it challenging to reach out. Her heart races with each step, afraid of being judged or rejected. "Hey Sam, I love your drawings. Mind if I join you?" Sometimes, unexpected kindness breaks through the barriers of fear. With the support of a caring professional, Sam begins her journey towards self-acceptance and growth. Through shared interests and genuine acceptance, Sam's friendship with Sarah begins to flourish, opening doors to more connections. "You were always by yourself and rarely smiled at us, so I thought you didn't want to be friends with us. Do you like anime? Since you like drawing, I thought you might like anime too." Sam's friend group becomes a melting pot of personalities and backgrounds, proving that genuine acceptance fosters a strong and united community. And as Sam's journey continues, she learns the power of inclusivity in fostering a supportive environment for everyone. Together, we can break down the stigma around mental health and build a world where everyone feels valued and understood. Hello, Psych2Goers, and welcome back. All right, so how do you know it's a disorder and not a trait? Who wouldn't be a bit awkward when walking into a room full of strangers? Shyness is a trait. It's the initial awkwardness that precedes forced small talk. The mere dislike of the spotlight, but it's not distressing. Social anxiety, on the other hand, is the pervasive, intense fear of being judged, humiliated, rejected, or embarrassed in a social setting that leads to anxiety or avoidance. Although shyness and social anxiety share similar physical symptomatology, there are traits that differentiate them. Please remember this video is meant to be informative and should not be used as a rubric for self-diagnosis. If you have any personal questions or concerns regarding this topic, please consult a licensed professional. With that said, here are 7 signs that you're not just shy. Number 1, avoiding or escaping very public settings. When you find yourself in new surroundings, do you open up after a while or stick to a familiar group of people? Or maybe a bathroom nearby, or leaving early seems like a better sanctuary. Although a shy person may feel uncomfortable at the party where they don't know anyone, someone with social anxiety will avoid public settings altogether. This symptom can devolve into agoraphobia. Public situations such as dining out at a restaurant, dating, or returning an item to a store can be harrowing for someone with an anxiety disorder, where there are opportunities for rejection or embarrassment. If avoidance is not possible, those who have social anxiety may try to escape the whole situation by using extreme avoidance and escapist tactics or safety behaviors. The problem with safety behaviors is that they provide the illusion of surviving the event. However, you still feel guilty for not controlling your anxiety. Number 2, feeling very self-conscious in front of others. Do public settings make you feel uncomfortable? Does it feel as though people are watching and judging you? You might not even have everyone's attention, yet you still have an inexplicable fear that at some point, something will happen and everyone will start judging you. To someone who doesn't suffer from social anxiety, this might sound illogical, but that's the thing. Social anxieties sometimes don't have logic. They can arise at the most random moment and make you suddenly feel as though the spotlight has fallen on you. Some physical symptoms involve sweating, heart palpitations, and panic attacks. Number 3, fear of physical symptoms that may cause you embarrassment. Can you feel a certain set of physical symptoms kicking in as soon as you step out? Do you constantly cool your burning cheeks with the back of your hands? One way social anxiety can pass as shyness is through physical cues. Both have physiological similarities, such as blushing, sweating, rigid posture, and trembling. However, for someone with social anxiety, their bodily response can make them anxious. These physical symptoms add to the workload of stepping out into society. You constantly worry about how others might judge you for displaying these outward symptoms. Even having your mind go blank for a few seconds can make you feel like you left a poor impression. Number 4, fear that others will notice that you look anxious. Are you quick to avert your eyes after a quick greeting? Are you more comfortable looking around while interacting with others? While shyness can be the initial driving force, it wears off with time to the point that you become comfortable holding steady eye contact. On the contrary, social anxiety does not wear away after the first few moments of interacting. As you feel its presence, all the while you are reluctant to engage in open interaction. Since your social anxiety is a tangible experience for you, you fear that it's also noticeable for those around you, thus producing more anxiety. Number 5, having anxiety in anticipation of a feared activity or event. Is the mirror your trusty audience months before a public event? Before a big event like a presentation, it's normal to feel a bit anxious. If it's shyness holding you back, it can diminish over a while. However, if you experience social anxiety, you might think for months about all the things that could go wrong. In some cases, these thoughts can accumulate in your mind and lead you to avoid the event or situation. This behavior can be particularly damaging if it's school or work related. Having an honest support system can help alleviate the worst of the jitters. Number 6, a past negative social experience. Is there a rigid memory of things going awry in a social setting? When you first experience a setback at a social event, it tends to take root in you in the form of dread. However, if it was just shyness, the next time you encounter such a setting and come out unscathed, some of that dread chips away. But when you're socially anxious, no amount of chipping away is sufficient. You are always expecting the worst possible consequences. You lose interest in even working on basic social skills. Although the definitive cause for social anxiety is unknown, researchers believe that underdeveloped social skills can lead to social anxiety. Being teased or bullied for being socially awkward can lead you to fear further social interactions and exacerbate social anxiety. And number 7, spending time after a social situation analyzing your performance and identifying flaws in your interactions. Do you mull over conversations way into the night? Are you constantly thinking up how you should have responded long after the topic is over? Sometimes we revisit past moments to learn from them and become better, but obsessing over a past detail usually ends with insecurities creeping out from the corners of your mind to make you feel inferior. However, for someone with social anxiety, obsessing over a small detail does not feel like a choice. Social anxiety is about seeing yourself through the lens of someone else. Hence, you might be prone to dwelling and analyzing past interactions, especially conversations. The trigger is in the part of the conversation that you keep replaying. Only when you figure out a better response can you let it go. Letting go is a difficult step, and it might take some time to learn. Everyone experiences anxiety to varying degrees, hence professional advice tailored to meet individual needs is essential to ensure positive results. Your apprehensions are by no means a reason for you to swear off from society. By seeking appropriate support and help, you can soon view the outside world as your conquered battlefield. Have you ever had the two mixed? What has helped you cope with social anxiety? Feel free to leave a comment down below with your thoughts, experiences, or suggestions. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button and share it with those out there pondering the two. Don't forget to subscribe to Psych2Go and hit the notification bell for more new videos. Thanks for watching. In the past, we've covered how anxiety can damage your relationship with others and even yourself. However, the spotlight in this video is on social anxiety. Social anxiety is more than shyness. It's an overwhelming feeling of fear and dread at the thought of being in a social setting. Social settings just highlight your own feelings of either inadequacy or self-awareness. The sweaty and clammy hands appear at the idea of having to be involved in a group. Why? Because you think that you may end up embarrassing yourself or making a bad impression on others. These feelings are not as uncommon as you might think they are. There are approximately 15 million other people in the United States alone that feel the same way. In fact, social anxiety is linked to a group in Japan called the hikikomori, individuals who choose to isolate themselves from society for extended periods of time. So you are not alone, even if you might wanna be. The thing is that while you might find these periods of solitude and social isolation comforting, you need to socialize with others. We humans are social beings after all. How do you stop social anxiety from controlling you? Recognize where the spotlight is. A common symptom of social anxiety is perceiving how others perceive you, meaning you find yourself feeling uncomfortable or extremely self-conscious because you are aware of how others might perceive you.
It's this hyper and almost meta awareness that triggers deep feelings of self-consciousness and anxiety, which makes you run from social situations. This bias, believing that others are watching you, is called the spotlight effect. But the truth is that most people are focused on their own things. They aren't really looking at other people around them unless it directly involves or affects them. Once you realize that no one is really looking at you, you'll start to feel a lot freer and less worried. Address the negative beliefs tied to your social anxiety. Social anxiety is magnified and fueled by the ruminating negative monologue you have in your head. Negative social experiences often leave a scar that can affect all future possibilities. As a result, in the face of social situations, you may start to fabricate presumptions about how things will turn out. Usually, your mind will paint you the worst possible picture, scaring you into not going outside. Sometimes these assumptions are not just about the event, but also about yourself and your abilities. Consequently, you become more anxious and less willing to attend a social event. To counter this, we can identify where these negative assumptions come from and what triggers them. Maybe it was a bad experience, or maybe the assumption has no basis. By learning the source of your negative talk, you can learn how to address it and cancel it. Negative experiences or thoughts can trigger anxiety and then devolve into negative thinking patterns, such as catastrophizing or mind reading. Challenge these thoughts by asking yourself, is this worry based on facts or assumptions? Replace irrational fears with more realistic and balanced perspectives. Remember, just because you think something doesn't make it true. Be more realistic. Another factor that affects our level of social anxiety is expectations, societal or self-fabricated. Sometimes we idealize how a situation will play out or imagine how it should play out. As a result, we have high expectations, and our fear then becomes, what if it doesn't happen that way? The antidote to this is realism. Realism helps get rid of unrealistically high expectations and allows you to live in the moment. Now, free of expectations, you may find yourself enjoying a social gathering instead of dreading it. Be more assertive. Many of the tips I've given you so far are about handling the external atmosphere of a social setting. But sometimes your fears about social events are internal. Sometimes our own insecurities and inadequacies make us afraid to be around others. You fear social rejection and therefore avoid being social. But what if you learned to accept this? You cannot please everybody, just as not everyone can please you. Just as you may not be friends with everyone, not everyone will want to be friends with you, and that is totally fine. Each and every one of us has a reason for accepting or not accepting someone. Sometimes that reason is something as simple as not feeling it or not wanting to. Rejection from others does not mean that there is anything specifically wrong with you. So don't take other people's perceptions of you too seriously. Whether someone chooses to like you or dislike you should not dictate or affect your self-worth. Learn to handle mistakes. And lastly, many people become anxious about being in a social setting because they're afraid to embarrass themselves. But the trick of getting over an embarrassment is how you decide to handle it. We've all done something cringe at some point. Like that, like what I just did right there. So what? Learn to laugh it off. I say this fully knowing that it might not be that easy, but learning to laugh off a mistake or embarrassment starts with learning to value yourself and having self-confidence. Having self-confidence helps you overcome your social anxieties and makes you more comfortable being in a social setting. Why? Because all the negativity and fear of rejection disappears. Learning to love and value yourself, learning to speak up for yourself and being confident is the key to overcoming your nerves. Easier said than done. Like all things in life, it's a process that involves rewiring your negative talk and maybe working with a therapist to overcome biases that have created your social anxiety. But the journey is worth it. You learn to socialize and live a more empowered life.
Hey, Psych2Goers, are you always worried that other people are judging you when you're out and about? It's normal to feel slightly anxious or uncomfortable when you're hanging out with coworkers or people you've never met before. However, when your anxiety from being in social settings becomes so overwhelming or even debilitating that it starts affecting your daily life, it may be a sign of social anxiety. The symptoms can vary from sweating and trembling to experiencing nausea and dizziness. Severe social anxiety can even cause some to avoid social situations or going out altogether. So, to help you out, here are 6 ways to overcome social anxiety. Before we begin, we would like to mention that this video is created for educational purposes only and is not intended to substitute a professional diagnosis. If you suspect you may have social anxiety or any mental health condition, we highly advise you seek help from a qualified mental health professional. Now let's begin. Number 1, create awareness. Do you feel overwhelmed by the thoughts in your head? Sometimes when you're out at a social event, you may feel like everybody is judging you, or how you look, or how you behave. But more often than not, these negative thoughts are untrue and may actually stem from your own insecurities and criticism of yourself. By creating a habit of becoming more mindful and aware of where your thoughts are coming from, you can start to notice the triggers that cause your social anxiety to worsen and challenge and disarm these intrusive thoughts. Number 2, engage in relaxation techniques. Are there things you do when you find yourself feeling anxious? If not, you can practice some relaxing techniques since they can be incredibly helpful, especially when your anxiety becomes overwhelming. One strategy is diaphragmic breathing, also known as deep breathing. Deep breathing engages the diaphragm and allows you to take in more air. Notice how your stomach rises and falls with each breath. Engaging in relaxation techniques can help you better prepare for moments of extreme anxiety. However, you should note that these techniques are not meant to substitute treatment for an anxiety disorder. Number 3, try yoga. Have you ever tried yoga? While that may seem cliche, yoga can be quite useful in combating anxiety. Because social anxiety involves cognitive, physical, emotional, and habitual sensations, yoga can help you relax and refocus your mind and body. Practicing different types of yoga poses can help you reduce your anxiety by engaging your mind and shifting your focus away from the overwhelming and negative thoughts in your head and into the exercises you're doing instead. Number 4, set goals. Are you trying to work on your anxiety on your own? If so, it's important to remember to set some goals. Having goals will help you figure out where you want to go and guide you on how to get there. But it's essential that these goals are realistic and quantifiable, so you'll be motivated to continue making progress. There are some online quizzes that can help you gauge your degree of anxiety. These can help give you something to work towards. When you meet one of your goals, remember to also celebrate and reward yourself for them. Number 5, make something. Do you enjoy painting or journaling? Art therapy can be a beneficial way of reducing social anxiety. Since social anxiety often stems from the fear of being judged, it can end up creating a need for perfectionism in yourself. Engaging in art therapy can be a way to help you accept your imperfections and even make something beautiful out of them. Additionally, social anxiety is regulated in the amygdala, an area responsible for emotions and sensory input from your environment. In this sense, art therapy can be a way for you to illustrate what you're feeling without needing to find the words for it. And number 6, therapy. Have you ever tried going to therapy? There are many types of treatments that could work for anxiety. The most common is cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. It's a technique often used to address many mental health conditions like depression, PTSD, and anxiety. CBT helps you identify your negative thought patterns and gives you the tools to change them. Another technique is systematic guided exposure. This involves slowly exposing yourself to scary or anxiety-inducing things until you're not so scared anymore. It's a way of taking baby steps to overcome your anxiety. With the right guidance and support, you can slowly overcome your social anxiety. Have you tried these tips to help combat your anxiety? Let us know in the comments below. If you find this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with those who might benefit from it. And don't forget to hit the notification bell icon to get notified whenever Psych2Go posts a new video. The references and studies used in this video are added in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.